Welcome to episode 2 of Getting Down with GarageBand. In this episode, we are going to take a look at all the different types of projects that GarageBand can create custom templates for. When we open GarageBand, the first thing that usually opens is the last project we were working on. If we close our project, we should now be seeing the new project dialog. In the left-hand column, we see that our project templates are sorted into sections. The first section is for basic music making projects. Depending on what instrument you play, or what you want to base your song around, you can choose an option that will let you start making music right away. In our last episode, we started with a piano project, which opened to show a project with a single piano software instrument, ready for playing with a connected MIDI keyboard. Throughout this series, we will need to assume that we have the instruments necessary and that we have them connected properly through an audio or MIDI interface. Let's take a look at what we get with the electric guitar project. Select the guitar project, and then click Choose. Again, it'll ask us to name our project. This time, we'll call it Guitar. And also, note the other options here. We can choose which folder to save our project in, and we can choose tempo, time signature, and key. If you have a song in mind and know this information, you can set the appropriate parameters here. Since we just want to have a look, we'll leave these as they are for now and click Create. Now we can see our guitar track in the track section, and over on the right-hand pane, we can see that the track info button is selected and showing us a guitar amp and some guitar pedals. We'll look at the different options here in the next episode. This is just to show how GarageBand lets us start playing right off the bat. Now close this project and open a vocal project for singers. Same as before, we'll select Voice and then click Choose. Now we can see two tracks created, one for male and one for female, each with slightly different settings. Over in the track view pane, we can see that we are given some presets for different sounding vocals. If you have a mic hooked up, you can try some of the different presets to see which works best with your voice or project. If you find something that's close, but not quite what you want, you can click the Edit tab to see which effects are being used in that preset. Here, we can adjust each individual effect to our liking. Now let's look at a loop-based project for electronic music. When we open this type of project, notice that we have no tracks created. When we choose loops from the browser on the right, it will create a track for each loop we want to drag into our song. Let's click Beats and choose a loop with a green symbol. Notice that the track is green, and the clip itself looks like a series of dashes. This is a MIDI loop. If we choose a loop with a blue symbol and drag it in, we see a waveform. This is an audio loop. We'll get into the differences of these a little later on. For our purposes now, these both behave basically in the same manner. In the loop browser, we can see that each loop has a tempo and a length. As well, melody loops, like bass lines, have a key. GarageBand will automatically adjust the tempo and key to match our project. Next, let's take a look at a podcast project. Here we see some real differences. This is a template for an enhanced audio podcast. It has a track for artwork, male and female voices, and a jingle track for incidental music. We can see that the track editor is open. In a podcast, this lets us add markers for chapters, markers where the artwork changes, or markers where URLs are displayed. Also, in a podcast project, we can use GarageBand to create a voiceover or soundtrack to a video podcast. To convert a podcast to a video podcast, simply look under the track menu at the top and choose Show Movie Podcast. We see a dialog that lets us know that our artwork track will be replaced with a movie track. Last, let's look at the media browser on the right. It shows us our photos, movies, and music collections. You can drag these elements into your project to complete your enhanced podcast. We'll examine this more in a future episode. Now, let's look at a couple of other types of projects. If we close this project, we see again the project dialog. Let's take a look at the Learn to Play and Lesson Store. This is great if you're just starting out on your instrument, piano or guitar. Under Learn to Play, we can see a guitar lesson and a piano lesson. When you open either of these, you will be shown an interactive video explaining some of the nuances of your instrument. Once you have completed a lesson, you can visit the Lesson Store for further instruction. Also, the Artist Series gives you full compositions to learn from some great artists. Last, we want to look at the Magic GarageBand section. This presents us with a list of styles we can play along with. When we choose a style, we are presented with what looks like a full stage of instruments. We can choose the instrument we want to perform on, and try different presets on that instrument. When we press play, the full arrangement begins in the style we chose. You can also record your performance and open it in a normal GarageBand project. Remember, there are 10 parts to this series, so stay tuned for more Getting Down with GarageBand.
Hey, this is Doc. If you're looking for a cheap and easy way to put your own content on the web, go get domain names from hover.com. Just visit hover.com/butterscotch and you'll get 10% off and support shows like these. Thanks.